Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Connect Show. I'm one of your many hosts today, Kim Knock, and we are diving into the extraordinary world of small business owners. They are the unsung heroes of our economy, and I can't wait to share their incredible stories with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Osterling, the creative mind behind A Stupid Good World, Stupid Good Food, and Where You're At clothing line. Think about the last time you strolled through your neighborhood enjoying the quaint cafes, the charming boutiques, and the unique stores. Behind every one of those storefronts is a small business owner pouring their heart and soul into their dream. Ben, welcome to the show today. Tell everyone about yourself.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here. My name is Ben Palmer, and by day I work for Direct Drive Logistics, helping move products and infrastructure all around the country, and it's great. And then for the last 11 years, I've had a company called Think Local, and that's supporting our locally owned and operated businesses and the backstory of who's the people behind the businesses. So today we have a special guest here, Dottie, on the show. Dottie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My first time hosting. Hello, everyone. I'm Dottie Posto. I am stoked to be here hosting on the Connect Show for the first time. I am a leadership consultant and coach, and I specialize in helping leaders or team members who have gotten that does not play well with others one too many times on their report card. And so I help them to become the leader that everyone wants to work for.
On today's show and every show, we interview small business owners. These remarkable individuals are more than entrepreneurs. They're risk takers, dreamers, and community builders. They wake up before dawn, brew the coffee, roll up their sleeves, and set out to make a difference.
Their stories are inspiring beyond measure. From humble beginnings in their garages and living rooms to building thriving enterprises, small business owners are true champions of resilience.
Before we move on to today's show, we want to give you a little background about the show. The Connect Show with John and Tracy was dreamt up the summer of 2021 when John reached out to Tracy and said, I have an idea for a show. After some collaboration, the first show aired that September. Fast forward today, we have many great people who really bring the show to life, and we can't thank them enough.
The guests and hosts on the show are all volunteers. If you would like to be a guest or a guest host, like myself today, on the show, the process is really pretty simple. We'll teach you everything, all the steps, everything you need to know. And the benefits include that you are getting practice in being in front of a camera, getting the word out about your business, practicing your interviewing skills. So please contact Tracy Champagne to get your spot on the show.
And while the Connect Show is a show created by volunteers, we are here looking for your support to keep the show growing. Sponsorship on the Connect Show is a great way to get your business seen and support your peers. It can be a commercial, plugs in our newsletters, social media, or on our website. If you are interested in being a sponsor, please contact John or Tracy at info@theconnectshow.com.
Thank you to our hosting sponsor, the Expansive Workspace, where we broadcast the Connect Show. Expansive is a wonderful place to work and great community to be a part of. Additional regular sponsors include MKE Video, aka John, Small Business MKE, Opportunities Connecting, Friday Fish Fry Guide, Stupid Good Food, Think Local, Mind Body Abundance, Idea Share Coaching, and many more.
We really need to give special thanks to MKE Video, as you said, aka John Taylor, who creates the show with all the video work and the editing that goes behind the scenes. John also has a new community called Mind Body Abundance that you can see more at mind-body-abundance.mn.co.
As always, we are very thankful that you've come to watch the Connect Show. If you have a topic that you think we should be discussing here on the Connect Show, please email us at ideas, IDEAS, at theconnectshow.com. Ideas@theconnectshow.com.
Today, we're super excited to welcome two guests, Catherine, otherwise known as Kat Ramirez, and Cody Konharkowski and Andy Cervenka. Oh my God, I hope I did okay with that. I'm so sorry if I badgered you all. Social media and building business credit is crucial to all small business owners to be a thriving enterprise.
The Connect Show is better when interactive. So please add your comments into the chat on YouTube, Linked, and Facebook. It's easy to find us. We'll bring you up your comments and then add them to the conversation. This is a great opportunity to get expert advice to help your business grow.
Our thanks again to last week's guests, Crystal Young and Keith Rios. Brand building and logo design go hand in hand. If you missed it, make sure to catch the replay at our YouTube channel. It was another great show. Let's hear it for our small businesses.
So we always have on the Connect Show a quote of the day. So today's quote is, if you lose money, you lose much. If you lose friends, you lose more. And if you lose faith, you lose all. That's from our former First Lady of the United States, Eleanor Roosevelt.
Who is the scaredest about the first part, money? I think that drives so many people more than the last two, which is so backwards, if you ask me. But
It's a little
money
bit
is
of
like such a driver.
Yeah,
for
I think
people.
friends, a lot of people really do also fear losing friends.
Yeah.
But yes, losing money, it drives a lot of bad behavior.
It puts the priorities right.
Exactly.
It's like faith as the foundation. Friends are so much. Money's not as
It's not.
not
It's
the
so
top
many people, it's their
priority.
driver.
Right.
It's their
it
driver.
is
They'll lose their friends for money.
yes,
Mhm.
and there takes a certain amount of money to live.
Right.
And so I think when that edge gets there is when people freak out the most.
Yeah.
You know,
But if
am I
you're
going
not
to lose my
losing money, you're
house?
probably
Am I
not
gonna lose
taking
my-
chances.
I think they're all pillars, though.
Right.
Like, so many people live in hope.
Give me a word war, sister. I know you got one brewing in there. I feel
Hope
it.
versus faith. Like,
Right.
hope is a beggar.
Right.
If you consistently live in hope, you don't have faith. If you hope for a second and then no, and the same thing when you talk about money, it's energy. So when we stress over a piece of paper and we put more stock in that and we don't have faith that more money's coming, like I look at bills, I look at taxes, everything that we have to do, whatever goes out, no matter what it is coming back in tenfold.
Absolutely.
So it's just the whole hope, faith, word war.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys see why I love her word wars? Had to call her out on it.
I
So-
actually like belief.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
really like the word belief
Yeah.
because to me, that is something, I mean, faith can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, whether it's religious or whether it's really just like faith in myself or faith in the fact if I can go forward with what I want to do. And belief to me is something that it isn't something that you have or you don't. I can believe many different things. And if there's something I believe from my past, I can actually change that belief if I really want to.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. The whole do you believe what you believe? And having the courage and faith that you can challenge that.
Yep.
And if it's not still in alignment, you let it go is one of the biggest pillars of business and life. And the combining of the two is
That's
like,
the entrepreneur. You have to believe in what you're doing.
yeah,
No one else is going to believe the way that you believe. You have to believe and go for it.
3 beliefs: belief in yourself, belief in your product or your service, and belief in your customer.
There's 3 pillars to keep you standing too. I like it. I like it. We've got Emily on. Just want to give her a little shout out saying, hey, website design that shines. And she's interacting. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Nice.
Let's hope my computer makes it till I'm off because we're dying. Go ahead.
So speaking of the whole hope faith thing, my evolution to change this week was with a girl who I actually met in February at the expo here and was just really drawn to her story. And she's a regenerative health coach now, but had all these massive issues from a very young age, was sick, overweight, didn't know it wasn't what she was supposed to feel. And so she went on this pilgrimage and has let go of the shackles. The symptoms disappeared. She started eating vegan. It served her significant other. He started doing it too. So now she works at the Stretch Zone and she's this coach who, above all things, you've heard of adrenal fatigue. And we're all in this fight or flight mode because the lack of faith and clinging to hope. And so she literally just took her health in her own hands and is now not into the body image thing. She's just very strong mentally. She's becoming stronger physically. All the symptoms have gone away, and she's healed herself from adrenal fatigue. So this is her short video we have now.
Let's check it out.
My name is Jenny Verhoeven, and my evolution to change is I came from working in surgery for 9 years, and along the way, I realized that traditional healthcare resonated with me less and less, and that I was being drawn more towards the holistic, natural realm. And I sat on that for many years, and finally in 2020, they gave me the nudge that I needed. I lost my contract in surgery, and it was just a beautiful invitation for me to finally say yes to going to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, where I got a degree in health coaching and holistic health coaching. And it was amazing. I loved it. And at the same time, I was going through some pretty debilitating chronic issues that I had been dealing with since I was 10 years old. And unfortunately, I still wasn't able to get to the root of what was really going on. And that's when I met this amazing woman online, and she shared with me all the beautiful healing powers of regenerative health and regenerative detoxification. And so it's such an honor. I'm so grateful every single day, not only that I discovered a level of health that I never knew was even possible, and that we could feel this vibrant and good, but I'm just so honored to be able to share this information and help so many more people along their journey to greater vitality and more energy, and really just living into your fullest potential. And so I'm forever grateful for being able to serve in this way.
Well, that's great. So you think about it as people just purify and know their challenges and figure out how they want to help people. It stems from deep-rooted, like, this was me. I needed that help. I wanted that help. I created that change. And now I have a strong desire that nobody feels the way that I did. And they just want to give back. And it's neat to see how so many businesses and entrepreneurs stem from that heart of, like, I really want to help you get through this. It could be marketing. It could be fitness. It's just that people deriving from that passion of, like, I've been there and I want to help you.
A lot of times I think that comes from, like, when you have the personal experience, you get the best experience.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get the best experience from dealing with someone from that personal experience.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
Yeah, we all have that opportunity to take experience and just turn it into a dot that connects to get us to our purpose. And if we don't, someone else will have an experience, and you'll be sitting there going, that was my idea. I am supposed to do that. And it's like, no, you were given the opportunity to. Opportunity was knacking.
Missed it.
What I love about her, though, is what we were just talking about, how the rug totally got pulled out from underneath her, and she was hoping she wouldn't lose her job, and then they just cut her. So what she did after that, I think, is just an indicator of what you can do when you're given an opportunity, i.e., like,
Right.
Don't look at that as
What's
a
your next
loss.
step?
There was no other option. You could
it's
cry about it or
blank
move
canvas,
on. Yeah.
Blank canvas.
Exactly.
You fill it in any way you want. And she did, and she's doing amazing.
When I was let go from a job in 2009, the economy was in the shitter. And I literally was thinking, as she was reading her little, form letter statement to me, Dottie, this is an opportunity.
Good for you for seeing it.
So-
Not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
So.
Let's look at the question of the day. So this has to do with software that we use in our business to manage our P&L, our profit and loss, the financial information. So what do we use? What is it called? And then expand how it works and the benefits that the way you use it in your business.
Tools.
Financial tools.
Tracy, why are you not up here?
QuickBooks.
Tracy's here today, but she is not up here, and
She's
Tracy
here,
could
but
talk all
not
day
here.
about tools.
Yeah, like QuickBooks is something super easy that when you're not ready to pay someone to do the deed,
Yeah.
it's like, you get the things done because it gives you a template and you just fill it in and boom.
Yeah, you know what's free? Google Sheets or Excel. If you know enough to put enough in there, you can start for free and move your way towards a QuickBooks, or better yet, hiring someone that actually knows what the heck they're doing to balance your books and have your accounting. That's my goal for the next tax season. Is I'm not doing this crap myself anymore. I'm hiring someone.
So my husband had a business when we were first married he left the business right before we got married, had all sorts of challenges after he left the business, lots of challenges. And then we have an in-law suite that we rent out periodically. And so I did our taxes for the longest time. And I finally was like, no more.
Yeah.
And I handed it off to someone else to do. And we've had a few different people, one of which cost us an extra $16,000 one year that we shouldn't have had to pay. And we did end up getting back the following year, but finally found someone who really I trust. And I've actually turned over doing the books. I'm going to pull it back for a little while just because I want to get better at it. I know it's a strong word. I hate all of that stuff. I really do. But I've realized I need to get good at it.
So
I need to
why
understand
can't
it.
you pay someone instead of getting good at it and focusing on
Well-
what you are doing better for other people?
I agree to that to a certain degree, but
Yeah.
I want to know enough to know what's going on in there so that I can go in and run the reports and understand it and do. So I'm not going to get in there probably and take it over.
Yeah.
I thought about that, but I'm thinking I probably won't.
It's a lot.
It's too much. And I've had a CPA tell me it should take you 5 minutes a week, Dottie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I wish.
Right. I think too, though, when something goes so that you're in the awareness of how it's done, then you're not millions of dollars in the hole being ripped off. When something looks awry. So I think it's, again, information versus knowledge. So take the information, turn it into knowledge, hand it over, give them the information, and now you're knowledgeable on what. Yeah, because that's just a. Wasn't it?
Go ahead. Oh,
Oprah Winfrey signs all her checks. So all the people that surround her that help her, there isn't a check that leaves her place unsigned by her.
I think that's fair though. That's a good sense of
that's what I'm saying.
I know what's out.
Yeah.
But now you use cards for everything. So
Yeah. Ben?
For Think Local, we've always used QuickBooks to manage just because of the simplicity of keeping everything organized in one spot. But I think as a small business owner, we have to be like proficient in just about every area of the business. And then we keep passing off to the help when we need it. So we're proficient, but pass over help. But the profit and loss, it's so nice to go, know your numbers. You got to know your numbers. You got to analyze them. You can't just be in the dark about it. Small projects to big projects, like detail out all the numbers and keep them organized so you can learn from it. It could be an event that you want to keep organized and then be like, we've got it all detailed out in some sort of software. The next event that we have, we analyze those numbers and then we see where we're at the next time.
That's a great example with using a spreadsheet and going out. And I just told someone this last night. Somebody wanted my help at 8:40, and I'm usually in bed by then because I'm up at 4:30 in the morning.
Join the clubs.
I'm like, sorry, I cannot help you. Google it. There's lots of videos out there. She wanted help with Canva. And I'm like, just Google it or, get a YouTube video. But I went out and I looked for, speaking of events, I have a retreat this fall in Maine, and I found a template, an Excel sheet template that had, all the things that you need to think about in terms of those expenses. And so I took that off to the side and I said, okay, I'm gonna look at this and I'm gonna really think about it so I know.
plug in your own numbers.
Yep.
One tool that Miss Tracy Champagne turned me into was Wave Apps. It is free if you use invoicing, in which most of us have invoicing of some sort, I guess, especially if you're a service. You can put so much information into the system for free. And now when it pays you out, of course, you have to pay a percentage, but you have to pay anyone a percentage, really, right?
Mhm.
But you can put in there all of your expenses as well. So if, like you mentioned, Canva, I have the upgraded Canva version. I pay for that. So that's in my every month expense. I know I can see what I'm bringing in for revenue and what I'm putting out in expenditures, print out a beautiful report at the end of the year and use it for my taxes. So that's another free thing, requires a little bit of learning, but it's really super simple. And if I have a recurring client, I create a recurring invoice, tell it what day of the month to go out, and it goes out, and I don't even have to think about it.
Right.
So,
Nice.
yeah. So there's another free tool for you guys.
Awesome. Thanks for the great advice. As always, John is here running everything behind the scenes.
We've got nothing. Emily's hanging out back there. She is loving our discussion. She's a discussion wizard. She says, so I love it. Emily, share, so we have more people. As soon as I am not behind the screen, I'm sharing this everywhere. So I think we're ready for our first special small business segment with Heike about LinkedIn.
Welcome to another edition of Heike's LinkedIn Insights. I help entrepreneurs and career changers take their LinkedIn profiles from blah to magnetic. You can find me on LinkedIn and at ideasharecoaching.com. Today, let's talk about your profile's featured section. This section is fairly high up on your profile and is a great place to highlight or post documents you would like to share with those visiting your profile. You actually have to add this to your profile. It's not one of those sections that is automatically populated for you, but it's really simple to do once you're editing your profile. On a computer, you can see 3 items that are featured, and then an arrow pointing to another 2 that are sort of off screen, if you will. On your phone, you can only see 1, so it is key to make sure that that first featured item that you post is of the highest importance to you. You can actually rearrange the sequence of them. So what can you post? You can add an article that you have already posted on LinkedIn and put that into your featured section. If it's something that's evergreen and that you want people to come back to, especially interesting for your own search engine optimization on LinkedIn, if it includes a lot of keywords for your services or your products that you offer. You can add an event announcement. If you have a retreat coming up or a webinar, you can put that there and then a link to the sign up page. You can add a clip from a podcast or a certificate that you've just earned because you maybe subscribed to or learned a new skill set. You can add that. These items won't move unless you decide to replace them. So make it count. This is really valuable real estate. A lot of people are not using it, and you could really set yourself apart and advertise your business, show off your skill set, increase your like factor. If you are a coach or someone who speaks either for a fee or for promotional purposes, you can even add a video there. So to summarize, make sure to share at least 3 featured items on your profile in the featured section, and make sure that the first one that shows up, since you only see 1 on the phone, is the most important one. And remember to connect with me on LinkedIn for more tips.
Go for the golden treasure from the deep cavern of LinkedIn. Let's welcome our first guest to the show, Catherine or Kat Ramirez. Welcome, Kat.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thanks.
I'm beginning to think after reading this, there's nothing Kat can't do, but I'll give you a little overview. With nearly 3 decades of career and entrepreneurial enterprise focused on marketing, business development, lead generation, and sales, Kat Ramirez offers expertise as a sought-after consultant, mentor, sales trainer, podcaster, and community leader. Kat has worked with thousands of businesses all over the world, helping them stand out and grow. She currently serves as owner and creative CEO of Advertise, great name, Golfing Buddy, and 10 Times Business Broker.
Kat has mentored professionals who need someone to bounce decisions off of. She's helped thousands of businesses in various industries. Kat has worked in the corporate universe for over 20 years, leading teams to success. Kat runs a woman-owned, veteran-owned, minority-owned business leader in sales, business development, advertising, and marketing marketplace. That's a mouthful. With over 30 years of experience, Kat has proudly served our country in the United States Air Force. Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you so much for your service and for being here today.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great to
I'm
have you.
excited to be here.
So I'm going to give you the question of the day.
Okay.
What tools do you have in your toolbox?
I have lots of tools. So because I have 3 different businesses, you learn to become an expert of using resources. So that becomes very helpful. In the beginning, of course, you don't. And you guys kind of talked about like the P&L, the profit and loss statement. So when I first, just to tap onto that a little bit, when I first started my business, I did everything. And doing everything really does help because it gets you in the mix and you understand your business. But as you graduate and grow, then you start to then contract that out or hire someone or whatever it is that you're going to do. Because it's a natural transition. You don't want to do everything. You want to be able to manage and oversee. So I do love the P&L statement. I'm a numbers girl. I like crunching them. Do I like to do my own accounting? No, absolutely not. I will not. And the other thing too is a nice tip to give people is in regards to P&L and taxes is I have a different bookkeeper than I do my tax person because that is a check and balance. And I need to have that in place to feel good,
Yeah, and then that knowledge is just so, like you have it, you've done it, it's
Yes.
there, it's that expertise.
Yeah.
To, like you said, graduated, it is.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
is.
Plus it catches if there's any problems with your bookkeeper because that can happen. People sell themselves to know more information than they do, and they're really learning the information. And unfortunately, you become then that person or that victim or the prize client, in that situation.
That's a great point too.
Yes.
Yeah. Going from doing everything yourself and knowing and having that wisdom to know, okay, when can I offload and
Yep.
what do I offload is really critical for business
Absolutely.
owners as you grow.
Absolutely.
So why is social media important?
If you think about, I come from major media. So ABC, NBC, CBS in my corporate life. So if you're thinking about a small business and the mechanics and the tools and everything that is available to them, social media is free. It just takes a lot of work. Does it have an impact? Absolutely. And I think the big thing for people to understand, especially businesses, is consistency. Everybody always asks for that magic bullet, that magic pill, that magic wand, whatever it is. And I always tell people when I give my workshops, I say, I'm going to give it to you and you better listen. It's being persistently consistent. If you're not persistently consistent, you're not going to win. You're not going to get an ROI. You're not going to get what you want out of it. I always tell people what you put into your business or the product or whatever it is what you get out. You put nothing in, you get nothing out. And you're just hoping, right? You're hoping for the best and praying every day, please give me a customer, but you're not doing anything.
That hope.
It's a beggar.
Hope is not a strategy is what I've been told
No.
over and over in different companies.
Right.
I love that in terms of, it's so true. Social media is really free. It is free and it being consistent because I've had my weeks, 2 posts, 9 posts, 5 posts,
Yep.
4, I've been on that roller coaster and I, still trying to get that, what is the right rhythm? Because I've had people tell me even twice a week or once a week, if you just do it every time. So
Yeah, absolutely.
so critical.
I'm of the theory, I practice what I preach. I always tell my clients, if you're looking at something, make sure that whoever is guiding you has done it and they have experienced the wins and losses of whatever it is that they're preaching you to do. And so I heavily practice what I preach. I grew I sold 3 businesses. I grew my first business with social media alone. Didn't spend a dime on marketing until I could afford it. And so that's the other thing is knowing your boundaries, knowing your limitations, understanding your business, and really working those numbers and knowing what your runway is. And when I say that to business owners, and they're like, look at me with this look, glazed look.
Deer in the
You know?
headlights.
Yeah, and you know,
runway. I don't have a plane.
and at the end of the day, it's like obviously you put money aside, I hope, and know that you have to have something to get the business going. You can't just do it, whether that's your time and energy or whether that's an investment that you make. So either one, whatever the case may be, but know what your runway is. Because at the end of that runway, if you don't start generating clients, you're in trouble. And you will know before you hit that end of the runway. So you should know your plan.
And it creates so much stress and desperation.
Yes.
And that energy comes across in everything that you post on social media. So your posts aren't really effective when you're coming from that, when you're getting to the near the end of the runway and you're coming from the desperation,
Absolutely.
I would imagine.
And that's you make a great profound statement, because desperation will lead you into all kinds of warpedness and bad decisions, and just anything that you do will have that sense and that feel of desperation. Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I think the thing people get hooked up on, and myself included, is no one's even liking my posts. So when you set out a template and you just know you have to keep posting, because it's not about that. Like, things will catch fire. The more consistent you get, the more people do view it, whether they like it or follow you or not. I think there's that turning point. And I've been caught in that. So that whole, I hope people look at this.
I hope they like it. I hope they comment.
All right. And I think that comes from the challenge of experimenting and playing with different types of posts. So videos, static pictures, quotes, memes. I mean, we could go on. Reels. There's so many different variations. And if a business owner isn't experimenting and learning that the different types of posts will create different reactions, and so some clients benefit a lot better with reels, they just do. And a lot of people don't want to do videos. So that's not going to be part of the mix, right? And, there's people that like to do blogs, and that's a great opportunity to put content out. At the end of the day, what I always tell business owners and people is social media can't exist without content. It needs content. If you don't push content on social media, it will not exist. It's going to go away. It's going to evaporate. So what would you prefer? Would you prefer content from USAA Today, or would you prefer content from a small business owner and their perspective? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Although I do like I follow the New York Times, and I do like some of the posts, and I love seeing the posts from my peers here on the show and the guests that we have. I mean, I've gotten into some networking events because of some of the hosts that I've seen on the show and some of the things. And I love your comment about experimenting. Test and fail, test and fail. And our school system taught us that failing was bad.
Right.
And in business, you absolutely have to get comfortable with failing.
Yes.
Test and fail, test
Yes.
and fail.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And failure is not always a negative thing. Okay. Failure is a good thing because it's learning, it's learning by mistake, learning by experience. I always tell my team, I have a nice size team. I'm like, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay. We can't learn if we don't make mistakes. You just want to make those mistakes in very small nuggets and minor so that you don't explode. Yes. And repeat it.
That's the biggest thing is learning from the mistakes.
Yes.
What did I learn and what am I taking forward?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you've sold 3 businesses.
Yes. No, I have 3 businesses.
Oh, you have 3 businesses.
Yes.
So when should a business even think about selling?
Okay. So this is a great question. So a business has to be functioning and profitable in 3 years. So 3 years, because you can't get a loan if you don't have that documentation. Okay. And this now aligns with your first question of the P&L. Okay. Because if you don't know your numbers and you're not keeping good records, you're not going to have 3 good years. Okay.
Yeah.
So a grid where you put your little tick marks and you said, Jerry bought 10 of these, Tom bought 12, and you do that every year. That's not going to work. It has to be official documentation and it has to be official tax returns. So 3 good years. So if you were in business for 4 years and you had 3 good years, you can sell your business, and that's okay. The thing that business owners want to think about is when you are selling your business, it has to be profitable. You can't sell a business that is in the red. And so a lot of times I get people who reach out to me and say, I can't do this anymore. My business is struggling and I need to sell it. Okay. Are you sure it's struggling? Are you sure it's not making money? Okay. So now it's analyzing it, because a lot of times what happens is, especially in a P&L, business owners put their personal expenses in a lot of their business, okay? That can be extrapolated, and then you can see a good, true number. So that's why it's really important to work with a professional, because they can pull those numbers, okay? And it's called add backs. They can pull all these numbers that aren't going to affect a new owner. Now, what you thought was a struggling, failing business, now in the eyes of a business broker could be a very positive, cash flow positive business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really understanding your business, understanding your expenses, understanding what you're expensing. And I'm not here to tell people not to put their personal expenses in their business. That's one of the benefits of having a business and being an entrepreneur. That is one of the benefits. But as someone evaluates those numbers, they can extrapolate those expenses. So again, just to recap, 3 years in business, positive cash flow. And then you also want to have, if you have reoccurring customers, that is the prize, right? Reoccurring customers, because that's what you're selling. You're selling the process that you built. You're selling the customer base that you put in place, and you're selling that opportunity to someone else. Now, I'm a big, big fan of people selling their business and not just dissolving it or making it go away, because that's money in our community. That's jobs in our community.
So true.
And I don't want to see that go away. Nobody wants to see that go away, because that is money that keeps going. And if that business sells, it keeps going. Okay. And so a lot of times these small businesses are, they're making revenue. I would say the average is about 500,000, so they're making revenue, and so is there a revenue for selling your business? No, you can make whatever revenue. Okay. Your revenue, it's just proportionate to what the cash flow is. And that's, and then there's a long process to do evaluation. But again, if you have someone that you can work with, it can be done and you can get a feel for it. Now, the other thing I talk to business owners about, if they ever get an evaluation or they feel like someone assessed their business, they also can create a plan of strategy that if they're not positive cash flow, let's plan a strategy for the next 3 years. Let's find you a business coach. Let's find you a profit coach. And let's get you ready to sell. Because don't give up. Please don't give up. Especially if you have a great business. Just have a plan. You know what I mean? Like, get ready for it.
The first business boot camp in Knoxville, Tennessee, I was in, and I'll never forget, we were like 3 weeks from the pitch night. And we were starting to go over our pitches, and one of the guys in the group raised his hand and he goes, "So when do you know how to quit?" And I literally was like, "Oh my God, did he really just ask that question?" And like everything in my being was like, "You never quit.
Right,
like you just have to
keep going."
Yeah, it's so important. Your experience and knowledge is just amazing. Like
Yeah. I mean, so like if a business does have a bad year, because businesses do, and let's talk about COVID, because COVID was bad for a lot of businesses. And that was the time when people were saying, I don't want to work at where I want to work at, right? It was also the time when businesses were reassessing and saying, do I want to go through this? Do I want to stick this out? Yeah. And the weak fell off. I'm just going to be honest. The weak fell off and the strong survived because you persevere, right? But when you sell a business, you account for things like that. And those things are anomalies. Those are not going to be things that, is against you when you sell your business. And again, once again, working with a professional.
So I see that you do lead generation as part of your business. What's the difference? Help our listeners understand and help us understand the difference between lead generation and social media marketing.
Okay. So you can do lead generation on social media marketing. So that's a plus. So lead generation is the cause and effect of I need business, right? I need business and I need to convert someone. And whether you're wanting to convert someone for a discovery call, okay, so that's lead gen, discovery call, that they're a target audience, and you've kind of weeded out like this is a good ideal client, right? So that's one form of it. Lead generation can also be if you're an e-commerce store and you're trying to sell your goods, right? Your goods. So that's lead generation. So lead generation is a byproduct of I need someone to buy, period. That's it. And whether it is your service, your product, your goods, whatever the case may be, lead generation is going to get you those buyers. And you can use any form to get lead generation. So social media, ads, knocking on doors, cold calling, so many forms of lead generation. Now, social media is a great way to do lead generation. It's more of like a networking, you know what I mean? It's not as aggressive because in the old days, and those are the old days I remember, it was cold calling, right? Dialing for dollars. That's what we called it, dialing for dollars. And you're just cold calling. You're trying to get as many people as you can on the phone so that you hear a yes. Yes, I'm interested. All right, yay, you're booking an appointment, okay? You're doing the same thing virtually when you use social media to do the same thing. It's just a little softer. And I think it's complements a lot of people's personalities, you know? So social media is a great way to use lead generation. And we talked a little bit about LinkedIn. If you're a B2B business, LinkedIn is hands down, boom, you should be using that for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, LinkedIn is so critical. Heike makes sure we know how to use it well. And well, thank you so much for joining us today, Kat. Is there an offer or an event that you'd like to share with our audience?
Sure. You talk about free, right? Everybody likes free. So we offer the first 30 days for free. If someone is interested in trying out you want to hire someone to do your social media, we do the first 30 days for free. I also offer a free business valuation for my business broker business. So if somebody's interested in selling their business and they want to get a feel for where am I? Do I need a plan? Do I need a strategy? Or can I sell now?
Okay, cool. We also have Kat's information on our website, https, all that fun stuff, theconnectshow.com/Kat Ramirez, Ramirez. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, for sure.
And I think now we are ready for our second special small business segment of the day with Ben Palmer.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Kat. She is such a great resource to small business. And one thing that we really want to talk about is the people behind the business. That's one of the things that we try to do with the Connect Show is build those connections, let people get to know the people behind the business, why they work so hard for everything that they do. We also have been doing that for the last 11 years with Think Local and sharing stories. And if you go to thinklocal.io, the website right there, you'll find over 250 stories of local businesses. Just recently, we've highlighted some businesses. One example is MKE Outdoor Indoor Exchange that's owned by John. And to learn his passion for what he does and bring people into the outdoors is so exciting. Another one is the family sharing of Ozaukee County. It's in Grafton. And to learn from the food pantry to the upscale resale, and that everything purchased there is working towards feeding children, working families, those in need, elderly, and helping there, and learning those backstories about that. We were also up in Marshfield where we talked to Melody Gardens, and here's a neat place that combines a restaurant with a skate land starting in 1974, built by Alvin and Gladys Brock and their family. And they're just how they created that and the story behind it is so fascinating. I really believe that if we know those stories, we are more prone to choose, that's a place that I want to try. So we really want to get those stories out there. We have many more stories. The Daily Grind in Marshfield, owned by Eric Whitrock, an incredible guy, and just his passion for serving his customers and making a great community and building that around people. So we have stories like that all over. If you would like your story shared, please go to thinklocalwi.com, click on that, get to know us, and we can do a story on your business, really covering the backstory of why you do, what makes it unique and how people can connect with you. So I also want to go into some events. It's about community, right? Our local community. Our communities are wonderful, but we got to be out and active in what's happening. So in Greenfield, we have a Sendex this week. We have a Sendex Grill fundraiser happening in Greenfield. Go over to New Berlin. There's a barn market. If we look in all the way up in Neenah, there's a JNR Aquatics animal rescue adoption event is happening. It's about local events and participating, finding local events, going to local events, who's doing what great work and why they're doing it, learning about that and being a part of it. If you like to get your local event listed on thinklocal.io, submit your local event. There's a huge audience that will be able to see that there. And we want to promote all local events to get people into their community, having fun and enjoying it. So thank you all. Next up, we have Cody and the guys, and we're going to turn it over to them. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Ben. I'm a little cut off, but that's okay. You guys can see, I'm the voice behind the non-seeing camera. We first up have Cody is a business owner that's here to save businesses from cash flow issues. He loves free enterprise and spends a significant amount of time on improving mindset and skills. He helps business owners get access to guaranteed business credit with no personal guarantees for the life of businesses within 12 months with no risk and very little effort on their side.
Andy was born and raised in northern Wisconsin, a small town called Butternut, kind of like the squash. Currently, he lives in Oconomowoc and is married to his beautiful wife, Jordan, and they have 2 boys, Andrew, who's 4, and Harlan, who is 10 months. Fun ages.
My goodness.
Andy started his career in the auto industry in 2006, and the last 10 years were spent as a territory sales manager for a truck accessory company. December of 2022, he decided on a life on the road needed to come to an end. Those kids needed their dad home all the time. So he started Lake Country Consulting Associates to work from home and be with his wife and kids. He then partnered with Jay Galt as a regional managing partner to start working with small business owners to build their business credit profiles and protect their personal assets.
Welcome to the show. We're going to start off by referring to the audience question. Do you use software for your business profit and loss or other financial information? I think I have a good answer for this one. I'm guessing. What's it called? What do you use?
So actually, yes, I can start out with this. So we actually do have a software. It's actually a cash flow mapping tool that we use to forecast future growth, along with QuickBooks. Works really, really well combined, and it's included in everything we do. And it allows you to kind of like a budget application tool for your business, because we are in the business credit space. We don't like people going into debt for no reason. I think personally, you should be debt free. I think in your business, you should leverage other people's money. And so what we teach is, along with our credit analyst back-end team, is we're coaching on a monthly basis on how to actually use this properly. So you're constantly getting one-on-one guidance the entire process through to make sure you're doing everything properly for expansion. So anything to add on that?
Yeah, most definitely wrapping it in with that P&L statement that QuickBooks or other software types put out there for you. It's taking that rear looking profit and loss statement and kind of spinning it into more forward thinking, making sure you have money in the correct buckets at the correct time for expansion and well metered decisions when you're trying to grow your business. That I can afford another truck and a crew to go with it, but maybe I shouldn't jump at 3 trucks at this time. Maybe we'll plan that out a little bit further. So that's kind of where the cash flow analysis really comes into play.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Nice. So Andy, can business owners utilize the key benefits of business credit? And what are those benefits?
Yeah, most definitely. Some of the high level benefits of business credit is that you're not signing for everything personally. You're creating a business credit profile on paper. Your business is a legal person. It can have its own credit profile built, therefore to protect your personal assets. So we help turn that corporation that you own into your business partner, and not just something that you own, where it can leverage its own finances, generally at better rates. I mean, we have some phenomenal testimonial videos of business owners financing a vehicle on their corporation at 1.9% after working with us. And that was just this year. I mean, there's the rates that are not touched on the personal side or anything. You think the vehicle's in the business name, but you're still signing for it personally until you can get that separation by having a well-rounded, robust business credit profile.
Can I add on to that real quick?
Absolutely.
There's one piece onto that. So there's actually 3 forms of credit in this space. You have personal, business, which is like a hybrid, and then you have corporate credit. And what we're talking about here is building corporate credit on your business. And the problem is most people, when you go to Google search it, there's not much available on how to build proper corporate credit. And the number I always share with every person that I talk to, every business owner, I said it's a rigged game against you. I hate to say that, but it's true. 93 out of 100 times when you have a business credit card, it is not reporting to the business credit bureaus. And that's right. There's a business credit bureaus.
Yeah.
So you have Dun & Bradstreet, which everyone's familiar with. You get your Dun's
Not
number.
everyone.
I know.
Tell you this.
I know.
Most people do not actually know what business credit is.
That's
So
very true.
I think it's super important. And I was previewing through a little bit to check the questions. Most people don't know what business credit is. And so like, it's so important to have you here to educate people how important business credit is.
Very true.
Emphasizing like you're putting your personal house
Yes.
on the line for
Yes,
your
most
business and you
definitely.
don't have to.
It's bootstrapping. That's what they
Right.
call that. And the other things that I was going to talk about with it was Equifax Business and Experian Business.
Yeah.
We're familiar with the personal side of the coin. But the problem is, so you have a 7% chance of finding something that reports. And the issue is they're not going to tell you. That's the hard part. So you're stuck out here guessing. And business owners, we just talked about this. It's already difficult enough. You have so many things on your plate. You're trying to figure all this out.
Yeah.
So our purpose is to come in and do this. And the way that we can do it is we actually have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lender partners that want to be on our platform. So we have a software platform, and they have to show their underwriting criteria of what it takes to get approved before you get approved. And they have to report to one of the 3, if not multiple, credit bureaus. So we know that information, so we can hand it to
Yeah.
our members and say, hey, here you go, along with the help of our MBA credit analysts coaching you through it. So I just wanted to talk about, one last thing about business credit, since
Please
we're on it.
go. Yes.
Was one last thing on that.
One
was
last thing.
just to give you the education is you have a social security number that you, when you turn 18, it starts reporting in the personal FICO scores and all that stuff. You have an EIN. When you get an LLC, you get an EIN, and that EIN is the social security number of your business. There's no reason why you can't build a credit profile just on that EIN. Don't let anyone tell you differently.
Yes.
There you go.
Such
If you
good
have not
information.
paid any attention, stop, pause, rewind, and learn about business credit. I'm telling you, I was so
amazing.
excited when I
It's
saw you guys
amazing.
on the show today because of nobody knows.
Mm-mm.
Oh, we have a question. I got to go to the right screen. We have a question.
We got questions.
What is a good business credit score?
That's a great question. So,
Yes.
because a lot of the times, and you can bounce off this too, there's actually, the way I describe it, people tell me lots of different things. It's a 0 to 100 score. Unless you're on Equifax, then it's a little bit different, but it's the equivalent of a 0 to 100 score. And you want to be an 80 plus,
Okay,
but you want to be an 80 plus in all the top tier.
got it.
And you want to be an 80 plus in the top tier on all 3 major credit bureaus. And most people
And you gotta
never
make
get
sure
that.
they're reporting that.
Exactly,
right?
because
Yeah,
as an
if it's
I
not
just had
being
this
reported.
conversation this morning. As an underwriter, we could pull one report and then they pull a different one. But when you go to apply for that, whatever it ends up being in your business, what report are they going to pull? So we focus on actually set the foundation and build all of it at the same time, and we can do that in 12 months based
Wow.
off the platform that we have. With any business, come in there, we can help you do that.
Unbelievable.
So
That's crazy.
Something
That's
I'm really
awesome.
trying to learn to
Yeah.
put to use is business credit.
It's something that I just recently, I was making phone calls yesterday
Yeah.
about it and wasn't really even making that distinction between, okay, we need some support due to some things going on. And,
Yeah.
what do we do
Yeah.
from a business side? What do we do from a personal side? So I
I've
was
only
just
heard
actually,
of Duns and Bradstreet because of a client of mine. Other than that, I've never, ever, ever heard of it. So all business owners need to personally guarantee in order to get their credit. So how can we get around that?
So the coolest part about that is
We're
you have to
kind of-
start from the foundation.
Mhm.
So the most important thing is make sure your business is set up properly. And feel free to bounce on this. I don't want to take over this whole thing over here. But make sure your foundation's set properly, that you're reporting, the Secretary of State, the IRS, and the credit bureaus all have the same information.
Mhm.
The funny part is most people, when's the last time anyone here used 411? Like seriously. But there's lenders out there that will automatically deny you, not tell you because your phone number is not listed with 411. And those are information that's not out there that, I mean,
Right.
somewhere, hopefully it's out there. I hope it is. We're trying to push it out there. That's the whole thing we're trying to do, but it's creating the foundation of your business properly. So making sure that everything's aligned, making sure you have a business bank account, make sure your LLC set up the right way, work with the right people, your CPAs, your accountants, all make sure you're working with the right people. And that's the basic foundation. And then honestly, from there, I would say have a conversation with us and we can guide you the rest of the way, just to be honest.
No, I think that's
Yeah.
great. I mean, there aren't a lot of people that specialize in this space. So it's
Yeah.
a great niche to be in.
So I'm going to spin this question just a little bit. Can I, or how do I do this on my own?
It definitely can be done on your own, but the roadblocks that are put in place for small business owners are just vast and too high to climb over a lot of the time. Some shortcuts to start off with would be registering your EIN with those 3 bureaus. You know, it's free to do so on each one of their platforms. Google search it, find D&B, Experian, Equifax. Get your profile ready to start accepting, because if it just doesn't happen automatically, and if they're not there and ready to accept things that you might already be utilizing that do report, you're missing out on all that previous payment data. So definitely, I would say start with registering your EIN with the credit bureaus.
And if you register it, can you like go back years and have
Cannot
that
backdate.
information uploaded
Unfortunately
to
not.
all that
Unfortunately,
history?
no.
Because
Do it now.
Yeah,
Do it
'cause-
today.
'cause they're-
Do it today.
if
Do
you're-
it today.
If you're utilizing a business credit card that does report, they report one time. They're not going to cost them money to report, which is why there's so few that actually do report to those bureaus. So it's a one-time shot, and if the profile's not there to capture the
Make a
data,
note
it
here.
is
What did you
gone.
do when I get out of here?
I am doing this right now.
Yeah, sorry guys.
So
Break.
besides do it now, what is one tip you could give that would help other small business owners? For really both of you, let's let both of you answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just going to go again.
You're on top, man.
Okay.
Hit it.
So what I would say, one tip for business owners is do your research. Make sure before you go out and you start spending money on some sort of course or something like that. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of things in the marketplace that people are offering similar things. The hardest part is I would ask them, I said, do you have access to the underwriting criteria of these lenders you're reporting me to? If not, you're kind of just guessing.
Yeah.
But there is in forms of the first level of building business credit, most of that stuff should be on the internet from what I've seen. I've seen it. You got your Ulines, your Grangers, you can do net 30s. You just have to request it.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to request it. And make sure your business bank account set up right. How many times I've seen that not set up right is a mess. So that would be my kind of 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I'll step back a little bit. Sole proprietors. This does not apply to sole proprietors. So make sure you form your LLC and get that separation, because sole proprietorship, your EIN number is your social security number. So there is no separate profile to be created. You're tying everything to yourself personally. So create a corporation, and that's this conversation for your CPA, if it's a S Corp, C Corp, LLC, whichever is the best tax strategy for your business.
And outside of business credit, I would say get really good at what you do. Market yourself properly and do really well what you do, because that'll create the income for you to be able to invest in these things.
That
Exactly.
is such great tips. I can't emphasize enough how much I've heard about it. One other thing, you're building your business credit. What's your number one thing that I could go to start building on my business credit? Like, who's going to give me credit?
In the beginning, I know Uline and Granger are great places to start.
Right.
There's things that I've heard Sam's Club. I haven't looked into those. There's
Just
ways
a couple
to
to
do
help
it.
get people
Yeah,
started.
those are great places to look. I know when we get into it, there's certain things, like one thing I've seen is there's certain institutions out there that have credit cards that do report, but there's actually some of them have the same names, and you might not have the one that reports. So one thing I would do if I were you is I would invest in checking your business credit, your credit report. And that's something really, really important. That's something we actually do with us, is we actually do unlimited credit reports for our members to make sure they're tracking where they're going. And that will help you see where you're falling short. Check your Dun & Bradstreet, check your Equifax, check your Experian, and make sure that all that information is correct. Those are very, very important.
Which there is a paid service that shows you all 3 profiles, nav.com. They do have a free side, but it doesn't really show you much. So there is a monthly subscription, which we help connect our members to, but I think it's around $50, $60 a month. But
It's well worth it.
that is where you can see your reports on a monthly basis and see if you're building or not.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
That's very
Absolutely.
great. So good to know. Well, this has been fabulous, learning about the benefits of business credit and knowing what we need to know about business credit and checking our business credit. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Cody and Andy. Do you have any special offers or
Absolutely.
anything for our audience and
for
events?
both of us? I mean, I think there's a link that you guys can go to, and if you were to sign up for a kind of a 30-minute consultation. We're going to actually walk through your business credit report for you for free. So we'll do that for you if it's available. Sometimes they're not if you've never done it, but we will run it and we will do it on our behalf. And that costs us money, and we do it because I think it's a well investment into the small business community to make sure you guys know where you're at. And then we can dialogue, have a game plan moving out of what steps you need to take. And we can all, we do that just off the goodwill.
Awesome. So we're going to help people get connected with you. They're first going to get their EIN set up. Second, they're going to get their Duns and Bradstreet. One person did question, should they pay for it or do the free before they connect with you for Duns and Bradstreet?
Free.
Do the free.
Free.
They
Do the
always
free.
try to sell you at every turn. They'll sell you for builders and stuff, but
Just get
it's
the
not
free one.
necessary.
Forget about
Just
it.
get a free.
Get that
Yes.
stuff going and
Yes.
then contact Cody and Andy.
Which you
Absolutely.
can do at theconnectshow.com/Cody
Konartowski.
Konartowski. Thank you. And then theconnectshow.com/Andy Cervenka.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And what a great
Absolutely.
time.
Thank you.
I love it. I don't know which conversation brought me more. You guys are just going to hang out with us for the end of the show.
That's fine.
I
Here
have
we
found
are.
so much interest in business credit over the last month or two. So it's something that I'm really trying to work towards with my business. So I'm just
Literally, the
business
last
credits,
week,
me,
it's
me, 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 me,
been
me.
bubbling up
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
It's been bubbling up.
Yeah. So
It's a huge
very-
asset to have because it allows you to fund your business with your business.
Mhm.
And when you build EIN credit and you were to actually, it stays with your EIN. So if you were to sell your EIN, sometimes some of those move with it. So that's kind of helpful too
Oh,
for
that's
future
good to
so
business.
good to
know.
know.
Nice.
So that brings
Kim's
Cat right on in there.
There you go.
Cats got
Which I love. And of course, I could talk about social media all day. So I'm just.
I know.
That was a very
That's
valuable
like, yes,
conversation.
Very
do
I
it.
need to reach out
Very
to you.
wonderful.
Seriously.
Exactly.
very wonderful.
Exactly.
So much appreciated.
Awesome.
And with that, Heike, who do we have on next week?
Well, next week, join us for featuring Brittany Jones and Julie Miller. Brittany Jones is a business coach who provides accountability and support. She helps business owners deal with overwhelm and making it easier to take actions towards their goals. Julie Miller Davis works with business owners and leaders to change their patterns and become more productive and efficient. She helps her clients solve growth problems in their businesses and has helped multiple clients reach 6 figures. And with that, thank you everyone for joining us on our show today. Please help our community grow by reaching out and inviting one person who you feel will benefit from being a part of our journey. Please like and subscribe if you're on social media. This little act goes a long way in our reach. And if you like something you saw, please comment. We will see you soon.
Ooh, 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 ooh.